This is Ebony, and you're listening to Room for Relations, Calories, Liquor, or Body Count.
At my school, it's nothing to see a chick in 6-inch heels, mini skirt.
The podcast where we discuss everything
from the first date
to the last orgasm.
Get that thing going.
No, she's just trying to bust a nut.
Hey roomies, this is Ebony, and you're listening to Room for Relations, the podcast where we discuss everything from the first date to the last orgasm. Welcome back to another episode. Today we are going to be doing a topic, and I am joined by B. Shy, who we haven't seen in a while. Ameoz and Megan. Thank y'all for joining. We have an extra person because since we're doing online, I get to do the podcast with people that aren't necessarily in Houston. So Shy gets to be here. Hopefully, Kayla will be on soon. So people that have moved away will get to join us again. So I wanted to make sure I got Shy on because Shy is a essential first responder. We gotta work around her schedule. But yeah, I appreciate y'all being here. So today we're gonna have a conversation about big dick energy, BDE, and if there's such a thing as good pussy energy, or GPE. So when I use those phrases or those letters later, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. So BDE and GPE are the phrases I'm going to use. This came about because I was watching a podcast and one of the hosts was like feeling herself and her husband was like, oh, you got like BDE. And he was like, oh, well, I guess you can't have that. So what do you call the woman's version? And I was like, is there a woman's version? Like, I don't know. So I wanted to just have a conversation because one, I'm curious, and two, I thought it would be interesting to talk about. So we're going to start with big dick energy, and basically I'm curious what everybody's understanding of what that is. So whoever wants to start.
It's like school. You have to call out somebody.
Shy. I'm just going to go across. Well, you're first on my screen, so I'm just going to go across the screen.
Big penis energy. I think it's more of a state of mind than an actual big penis, right? Like, I don't think it's actually the size.
Right, but is there? So for you, the phrase refers to their mentality and how they act versus their actual penis size.
Right. For me, it is.
Okay. Ameoz, do you have an opinion on this?
Not really, except to say that that's what I assumed it was too, what she just said.
Okay.
They loud.
As far as when I first heard it, I guess maybe over the last year or so.
Okay.
Yeah, the other one, the good pussy energy, I just heard about just 5-10 minutes ago from y'all. Go ahead.
Okay. B, what's your understanding of what BDE is?
Pretty much what he just said. Like, I figure it's more of like confidence.
Mm-hmm.
I never take it as being like actual, but I didn't make up the term, and so I don't really know. Yeah. Okay. And as far as the other one, yeah, I just found out about that however long ago you just said it.
Oh, this is gonna be great. Megan, you what? Let me just before I can say anything. What's your understanding of BDE?
Mine is not necessarily the opposite. Also, so I use the term as well, and I describe guys that way. Okay, these kids, I cannot stand kids. For me, it's more of there is an energy that someone that is well endowed exudes, mm-hmm. whether consciously or subconsciously, and the examples that we use, that like my friends and I, when we've discussed this, are like a really good one is like the baby. because typically looking at him, you wouldn't assume. I mean, I guess you can't go off a height or anything like that, but the confidence and the energy that he exudes is like he has to be well endowed, or at least know what he's doing, just because it's like I mean, now this is gonna change for everybody. In my opinion, it's not like a cocky necessarily. It's just like a charismatic. That's what I'm looking for. A charismatic sort of aura or ambiance that this person gives off. And in my research, I have found that it is typically true. Like a person that I would describe that way, it's, for research purposes, I would go to find out if it's accurate, and it has always been accurate.
Okay.
I think it's just an extra added level of confidence that a man has. And like I said, I think sometimes it's often subconscious. Men don't, unless you're a homosexual, but for the most part, heterosexual men, right? They don't know, because they're going to get different energy from your homeboy than that homeboy is going to give to a chick, right? So sometimes it's just a extra added level of like, I don't have a reason to necessarily be insecure, to be la da da da, and so therefore it's just kind of like a self-assured aura that they give off.
I feel like, and this is why I wanted you on the podcast, I feel like you use the phrase probably the most out of people that I know. Like I heard of it before, but it's not something that I guess necessarily me and my friends used to describe guys. But my understanding is the same. Like I guess everybody else is saying, it's just like from my understanding, it's an energy. And you said confidence, but I would probably say cockiness, just because of the few people that I have heard about it. To me, I would describe them as cocky. But what you said about like other guys I noticing is very true, because I was talking to somebody and I was giving them an example of someone that I knew that I'd heard people say that he had BDE, and he was like, and I was like, yeah, and he's extremely cocky, and they were like, no, he's not. I would never describe him that way. And I was like, maybe because you're a guy, and so they wouldn't, like you said, talk to you the same way. But definitely when I've seen him interact with other people, like, nah, it's a very cocky, like, I know what I'm working with, or I don't know. It just, based on.
See, to me, it also never comes up regarding sex, though. Like, it's not
yeah,
no,
yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. So I was about to say, as even like, as far as like I don't want to say it like in a bad way, but like, not that the person doesn't have stuff going for them, because they do, but it's just kind of like, where's this coming from? And so there is like, maybe you're attractive, sure, but it's not attractive guys, and so it's just kind of like there's nothing like major about you that should make you have that confidence. So then it feels like, from my understanding, it's like, well, where does that come from? It must come from that. I
think that's a great way to describe. I've seen it in unattractive men. I've seen it. That's why I use the baby, because not that I'm trying to like stereotype, but with him being like shorter and being like, he's not everybody's cup of tea. He's not, it's like, well, what is it that makes you so sure of yourself? And that's why I said sometimes it's even a subconscious thing, because it's not like, I'm gonna talk to people however I want to talk to people because I got a big dick. It's not that straightforward. It's just like, you sure are pretty sure of yourself for somebody that either don't got shit going on, or is not the best looking thing, and even if they're attractive, it's just more of like they're able to be more silent than boastful, and it just comes off as like, he doesn't have to overtalk people, he doesn't have to be the center of attention, he doesn't have to. And again, I feel like that self-assurance comes from that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's why. Okay.
You were gonna say something, Ameoz?
No.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something earlier. So I know that I guess being Ameoz already kind of talked about when they first heard of it. Sha, for you, like, when, I guess, had you first heard of that term?
I don't know. I guess it's been a couple years. I don't know when it became famous, but I've heard of it maybe 2-3 years ago. I think it was on Twitter or something. I saw someone use the BDE, and I was like, "What's that?" And then saw what they were talking about. But it's probably been around a lot longer than that. But probably maybe 2-3 years ago.
Do you use it in your vocabulary?
No, mainly because I don't know. No.
So you wouldn't see somebody and just be like, "Oh, he got BDE."
No, I probably would just say he was confident or sure of himself. I probably wouldn't say it was necessarily BDE.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about the penis side, like the penis being the key, like that's what we're calling it, but to me it's deeper than that.
But Megan, you use it in your regular vernacular. Like that's a part of like I say regular, but you know what I'm saying? Like you use BDE. I'm not saying
you make it seem like it's my hat.
I'm not trying to say like that's like I use that word every day.
I think you hit the nail on the head when I couldn't think of what I was trying to say. Is that it comes up when you're like, why is that person so confident, right? Like it, and then it grows into a conversation of that. More than likely, that's what it is. But I'm with Shire where I feel like the first time was years ago, but I'm pretty sure the first time I heard it was on the Breakfast Club or Angela Yee. They talk about it a lot on her podcast, which I don't listen to all the time, but she brings it to the Breakfast Club. And then Charlemagne discussed can women have that? What would you call it if it was a woman?
Okay.
And blah, blah, blah. So I just remember it was years ago for sure. It wasn't like recently. It was minimum 2 years ago. Well, we're in 2020 now, so probably 3 years ago at the minimum that I first heard it or first started using it.
Okay. So I know you said in your research you found it to be true. Shy, for you and your research, or if you've done any research, I don't know if you have or not. But in your experience, like if you like you said, it's a mindset. It kind of comes across as like a certain level of confidence. Are there people that you felt like, oh, okay, he must just because of the way he carries himself that didn't have or had just like normal, regular, just the average?
You can fake confidence. So I feel like just because they give that energy off doesn't necessarily mean
that's where it's coming
from. They're going to come with it, yeah. So,
yeah.
I mean, I've had people live up to it and people not, which is sad. But, I
think
I was sad.
I was sad about
it. Like, if you have someone who has BDE, you get your hopes up like, all right, let's go. And they don't. So
for you, is it conversation? Is it like they're also talking a big game about like sexual stuff?
It doesn't have to be conversation. It could be just the way they carry themselves, and it's just like a confidence, a self-esteem kind of thing going on. I don't know if it's just it's not just sexual for me. Like it's more.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yeah, the ability is more than that. So I think it's just the way they present themselves, and it's just the confidence behind it.
It's because I can see if it's been a conversation about it, then I can see like being disappointed. But if it's just like, oh, they have this confidence, so I assume that's what it is, and then it's not, then it would be like, oh, that was okay. So I wonder why he has so much confidence. Because and if it's other stuff, right? Because I think that's what like me and Megan were kind of saying, where it feels like it's kind of like the confusion of like, I mean, you're cool, but to be that confident, it feels like it has to be something else. Like it's
just be confident.
You can be confident, but I think
Mama told him he could be anything he
wanted misleading.
To be.
He could be anything he wanted to be.
You say it's misleading, Shot?
It is. Like, don't be confident and then not follow through.
Maybe he's got a great personality.
Or whatever. Exactly. Not at that time. I don't need your personality.
I think for me, too, the difference is, so there's a difference between cockiness and confidence specifically when it comes to this. If I see somebody that is overly cocky, I personally would not call that BDE. That's the opposite for me of BDE. BDE is literally like silent confidence. It's like I'm moving through the room and don't have to talk. I don't even have to engage in conversation. And there's still something about that person that it catches your eye, he catches your eye, or whatever the case may be. Or maybe you weren't even paying attention to him and then you start having a conversation and you're like, oh, he's very pleasant. But he's just sure of himself. To me, cockiness is you're hiding something. And 9 times out of 10, you probably got a smaller penis, to be honest, when it comes to men. That's my personal opinion, right? I'm not, obviously not factual, but there's a reason for you trying to fake this confidence, therefore it coming out as cockiness. It's because you're trying to make up for something. And just, men are pretty black and white most of the time. That's the big stuff. I'm just kidding. Or they're not making it funny or whatever, whatever. But to me, it's the opposite. I wouldn't see somebody that's like real, in a club or in wherever or standing on like that is annoying. I would never consider that BDE. For me personally, it's that silent confidence that like, I don't know how else to describe. I'm tired of repeating myself. I sound dumb because I keep repeating myself.
No, I think because when even, and that's a whole different conversation, a conversation between confidence and cockiness, because then people have different definitions of that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah,
so I might be using them interchangeably. Is that a word? I don't know, but I might be interchanging them because.
Go ahead and define them. Just make that distinction.
But I guess I'm trying to figure, that's why I'm saying maybe I'm using both the same way, because I feel like confidence, like a lot of people have confidence and it's kind of like, I am who I am, accept me for who I am. Like, that's what it is. But cockiness, and I think, I'm thinking of somebody in particular that's making me very uncomfortable, but I'm thinking of somebody in particular that is like, I don't know, I'm not naming names, but that is like, they think they're smooth. To me, they're not, but obviously to other women, they are. And so I think women would think that they have BDE, and I'm just like, ugh. So I'm trying to think of, anyone like that. I'm trying to think of a time when I met someone or I interacted with somebody and I thought that, and I would assume it has happened, but maybe because I didn't have the language to identify, like it didn't, like I can't remember it. Like now, maybe I'll be able to, like, as I interact with people, like, oh, okay, I see it now. That's what it is. But maybe because I didn't really use it as a phrase, I can't like associate it with people in the past that like may have had that confidence. Cause like, I know guys that are cocky that have not a lot of reasons to be. Well, I guess for them they did though. Like, so stuff that maybe other people might be like, that's not that big of a deal, whatever. For them, it was like, no, this is a big deal. And that's why I feel the way I feel about myself. Like if I was not attractive in high school, but now women find me attractive. Like, okay, now I have this level of confidence or whatever that, and other women that don't find you attractive are like, why do you have that confidence? Like, what's happening? So I don't know.
That's mean.
Why is that
mean? Why do you have this confidence?
Well, I mean,
nobody sees nothing wrong with that.
Be confident, and maybe that's
like, why do you don't have that bored about yourself, or you ugly? Like, why do you have this? Nobody thinks this is me. No, this is me.
No.
It is mean, B. You're not wrong.
Okay.
I think that's why I want to use cockiness, because to me, just being confident is fine. But like when it's like, I need you to see that I'm feeling myself, or I don't know. That's why for me, it pushes more toward cockiness. But again, I don't know. Because I feel like you can be confident and not have nothing going for you, not be attractive, whatever, and still be like, but I'm still me and I'm good.
That's what I'm a Google person, so I'm up here Googling.
Okay,
like confidence versus arrogance more than cockiness. And it says arrogance is more grounded in nothing. So like you're basing this confidence or this self-esteem on nothing. Whereas when you're confident, you actually have a basis for it. So it comes off more genuine and sincere. Whereas arrogance is just you talking out the mouth.
But I guess the thing is, like, are you allowed to be confident if you don't have nothing going for you? Can't you still be confident? Like,
that's what I'm thinking.
Should you be confident is probably the better question.
You say what? Should you be? You can be, but you shouldn't.
Shouldn't be.
That's how you become depressed. Like, no.
Right.
Like it can't even go for them right now, but you know, tomorrow's a different day.
That's true.
That's funny. So y'all said y'all had not heard of good pussy energy until I brought it up as like that's the topic we're talking about.
Yeah.
But as we talk about BDE, does it seem like GPE could be a thing?
Yes.
There are women that you
probably
can
so.
interact with and be like, she probably got good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
At least you hope so. I think it's more of a hope.
I mean, I think that's all the way around.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a hope. Like I don't see anybody just giving off and they're correlating to it. Like they definitely do, but I think you it's so when you meet and you hope they do.
Okay. Is there any characteristics that you would associate with that?
I think because it's rooted in a hope, then it's probably the confidence that she has when you're talking to her. So because she's just confident in just herself, then you hope it correlates
So sexual
to GPE.
I would hope it's in her walk. If I was a guy, like the way she walks,
just walking.
Her cookies are bomb. Like just walking across the room.
Definitely.
Wait, yes.
See?
You can get that hope too.
Yeah.
Ameoz, what you think?
The confidence, the walk, not so much the talk, unless she knows what to say to give that off. If not, just be quiet and be a silent assassin, if you will. I'm just thinking of the women that I would describe that way. And those are features that they have, I should say. Like Sha said though earlier, with the fake confidence thing for the BDE, that can go for women as well, and that shit's sad.
Yes. True.
Sad too. But you also learn how to spot that quick, so that's not a problem for long. Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have a question though. It's big dick energy and then it's good pussy energy. Why is it not good dick energy?
I think females automatically think that's probably a stereotype, but I feel like
no, but I think that's correct. I think
big, like they think that having a big penis equals good. I don't agree with that, but I know that's the stereotypic idea that if you have a big penis, then you're actually good with it. You know how to use it.
Wait, can I throw something in there?
Yeah, I was about to ask you to.
And even though I 100% disagree with that, because we know how I feel about large penises, I think it also correlates to, unfortunately, that horrible stereotype is also men fall into that a lot too. And I think because, so originally yesterday, Ebony and I talked about this very briefly. And my first response when it was about good pussy energy was, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's necessarily a thing. And the reason being, right now, keep in mind, I changed my answer after that. But the reason being at my first thought was, well, that doesn't hold any weight for us. We don't get anywhere in life because we got good pussy. Like, there's no final outcome. You get fucked, kind of, and it's like, oh, that was good. Versus like, you're not going to necessarily get an engagement ring. You're not going to get, maybe if you're trying to move your way to the top, I don't know. I feel like where society says that holds a lot of weight for men. So that's why it would be, most men probably don't give a shit if they're defined or not defined as having BDE, but if we were going to go down that route, it's like a badge of honor to say, like, yeah, I got big energy. But I think if you unpacked it, you would find that, you know, good is better than big for most women, I would imagine. But I did end up changing my answer. And the examples that I gave for women were like Rihanna. And then I was about to say a good example of what Ameoz said about faking the energy was the chick from Ready to Love, Alexa, who she started off as being like super confident, like, yo, she's dope. And you can see why everybody liked her so much. She didn't talk that much. And she was just seemed very confident in who she was. And then as the weeks went on, you're like, oh, she got some issues. And this is really, she's doing this because she's really so insecure that she's trying to cover that up. And it's now coming out once you're having more conversations and deeper conversations. You feel like she got to fight everybody and whatever the case may be. That was all I was gonna say. I don't know if people necessarily know who she is, but that was who I thought about when he was talking.
Yeah, and fighting everybody is not good pussy energy.
Well, she didn't fight everybody, but she also didn't start off that way. Though.
Right, and she had a whole childhood thing that was,
yeah,
a lot of stuff. But yeah,
she started off as like not caring about what the people thought
cool
about
chick.
her, and the cool chick, and really wanting to get to know people. And then, as the weeks went on, it's like, no, you feel like the whole world is against you because you're light skinned, and you have to grow up fighting people, and it was just a whole thing. I hope she got to therapy.
She made it to therapy.
She saw herself and did.
Yeah, I think when we talked about it and you said Rihanna, I was like, oh, okay, I guess I could see that. And I also said Erykah Badu. I feel like maybe another one that kind of exudes that, just because of one, the energy that they both put off, but two, because Erykah Badu was like friends with every one of her exes. Like nobody ever said nothing bad about her. Like she just, like it just seemed like she got some stuff going on.
That sounds like voodoo.
That too.
It's probably voodoo. I'm thinking that too.
It's probably more than voodoo than GP.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting because I wish I don't know. I think, like y'all said, both of them is like confidence. I wonder for women, is it confidence and the talk? Like, how much does the having conversations about sex make you think somebody is good at it? Because I know for guys, when guys bring up sex and like if they say they're good and all that kind of stuff, I'm like, okay, we're probably never gonna have sex. I don't believe that. Like, I just don't.
No, like
that's a toss of the coin. Like sometimes if they talk, it depends on what they're saying.
That's true.
Like if they real detailed, they make it do so.
Okay.
Man.
Maybe you're just a great describer.
Maybe.
I read a lot of books.
Right.
That's true.
I'm good with my words. Not my
vast
lips.
vocabulary.
Not my tongue. You say what?
He has a vast vocabulary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, Ameoz?
For the women, they don't have to talk about sex at all.
Yeah.
You feel like you can still see the energy even without them having a discussion about it?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. I think Shai's point earlier about that walk is really all it takes. If you had to pick,
what's the walk?
I don't know what it is. It's just a walk. Like if I saw it, she got it.
Like that Nia Long walk. B know what I'm talking about.
I like Nia Long.
Exactly.
Be quiet and just listen.
It's a walk, Ebony.
I know. I'm about to go Google Nia Long.
Just Google her walking.
Right.
Okay.
What's something else? B, can you think of some other elements that go to it?
I think even in the walk, I still think it's a confidence in the walk. So I'm just gonna revert back to it's like a confidence about a woman. Then she don't have to say anything about it at all. We ain't gotta have a conversation about that. And I still give her that gold medal in my head because I'm thinking that it's gonna be great, regardless if it's not or not. And something that men can do that women really can't. We can say it was better than what it was. We can lie about it and keep it going. Like women, they gonna really fit. I will be okay if it's not as, because she still has this confidence. If that is real, I can still be like, it wasn't that great, but she's still like, we gonna keep trying. I think.
Oh, you're saying you can lie to yourself, or not lie to yourself, but like you can like, yeah.
You mean me and her.
As far as like, that's not gonna stop anything. Like we can still keep trying this and do it. Okay. Yep. Whereas women, if it's like, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm saying I don't know. Go ahead. I was agreeing.
Whereas which to like Sean and Megan and we all agree that which I guess that's what you're saying, Sean. Like it's not necessarily about the size. It could be about their skills, and it still be called BDE. See, and I was thinking in my head, and maybe that's why it's hard for me to think of the confidence, because I was thinking in my head, like literally they have to have a big penis. Whether they know what to do with it or not, they've gotten some confidence from the fact that they know they have a bigger penis. And so that's the way I kind of was thinking of it, where if you're good in bed, does that mean could you have BD? I mean, I'm trying to think now. Now I'm trying to switch my thinking and think of like, okay, who do I know that I feel like I've heard or that I've experienced that's like good in bed and then they still have that energy. But it sounds like it's the confidence, and even it sounds like a lot of the talking isn't a part of it. Does the talking make you think maybe they don't? Because I know you're saying, Shaw, like, yeah, it depends on how they talk, da-da-da. But for y'all, for Ameoz and B and Megan, does the talking make it feel like if they are discussing like what they can or can't do, does it make it, change does it make you feel like, they probably can't, or again, it's the same thing where it depends? It's showing you on two screens.
Yeah.
It's going to depend on what they saying, how they saying it, if they saying it at all. But I think for the women, it either matters not or matters a whole lot less about your skills in the bedroom. You can still have good pussy energy just from the way they're carrying themselves. I don't know if B was saying that before.
That's what I was, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
But
the energy is the energy. It don't go nowhere, even if it don't go over.
Yeah, and however, if that's the case, she's got to stop talking about it until she gets her weight up.
Until you actually know what you're doing. Quit telling people that you do.
Yeah.
Aww. Is that a conversation that you have? Like, yo, stop talking to people about this because you're not that good.
No, well, just
be quiet about it.
You'd be the hardest man I ever met in my life if you did that.
Oh.
You'd be the most gangster thing I ever met ever.
Wait, can I say something? I want to say something before my headphones went out. Earlier, it was a question that when you were asking Shy about, like, is it, I want to fight this child, okay? When you were asking about, is it the way, like, a guy talks about it, or talks about, like, his sex game or whatever? I personally feel like that is I don't think it has anything to do with, I think it's literally energy. I think that's why it's called energy, because it's, again, it has nothing to do with words, literally, at all. I think it's more about how a person carries himself, male or female. I think that's why when they said Nia Long, I was like, oh, that's a good one. Like, granted, we only really see Nia Long when she's acting. She's not a person that does tons of interviews and stuff like that. But just even in her acting, like the looks
and in her interview, also
the
energy.
the smile
Yeah,
that she
I say a
gives,
lot
that's
of
like a slight smile. Everything about her is just sexy and flirtatious and Jill Scottish, and it's just
That's what
very
I'm talking
like
about.
it's
Jill Scottish. I like that.
it's just perfection. Everything. If I was a guy, I would say I would like to fuck the shit out of Nia Long because I'm sure she has great vagina, or Jill Scott, or everything about them kind of exudes like sexiness without being overly
Over the
sexy. Like
top.
they're not trying to do that. That's not their goal, but that's what we feel as the consumer, I guess. I don't know what other word to use, but as the observer, thank you, as the observer. And I think it's the same thing for men. It has nothing to do with like what they're saying or them trying to be sexy or them thinking like, yeah, I can do, whatever. I gotta, whatever. It's not that. It's somebody could literally be sitting here talking to me or across the room and could be talking about politics or could be helping somebody do something. And I'm like, okay, like that. It's not something that a person is trying to do or something that they are actively always talking about. It's literally the energy that just like jumps off of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I want to say. I'm gonna go back on mute because the kids are loud.
No, yeah, I mean I get it. Go ahead. No, go, Ameoz.
I think there's also a distinction that makes it either situational or always. Those names that Megan just listed, Jill Scott, Nia Long, etc. Those are consistent. I've never seen them not give off good pussy energy.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the same way, we talked about the scale, the have sex with face-to-face versus drink her bathwater, right? You could be bathwater status just for tonight, just from the way you're giving that off right now. Or you could be on that Nia Long, Jill Scott list. Mm-hmm. It's the same shit with good pussy energy. I mean, maybe that and bathwater is the same thing.
You might be right.
Yeah. I can see that on that scale. So it sounds like there's just it's similar. It's the confidence. It's my question was, has there been a time when you thought someone had that energy and then it failed you or it did not happen? It wasn't as great as you thought it was going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A couple times.
You said yes.
Several times.
Several times. Do you think everybody has BDE?
Maybe I think too many people have it that don't really have it. So setting myself up for failure.
Yeah.
No, only a couple times where you just like, you thought he had that energy, that confidence, and then you're like, back to the drawing board.
Was it that it was horrible or that they were small or?
No, small doesn't matter to me. I can work with whatever, but I think it was just the confidence lost itself in the moment.
Once you got in the bed.
Once you got going, and it was just
Okay. See, I've never, that's never happened to me, but I also
don't let it happen.
I very rarely give a person that title. I don't just pass it out.
Yeah.
So it's got to be something very particular. There have also been times where I didn't think that about a person, and I was like, oh, okay. So you did that. You was gonna come here and do that, and I didn't think it was gonna be like that, Right. But again, they just happened to be good in bed, but they didn't have the confidence level that would justify BD, or that would cause them. And that didn't change my mind just because they were good in bed. They still don't have the confidence. BD. Yeah. It's just an energy that you can't. Yeah,
that's probably happened to me more than the other. Like me thinking someone would be so great. Like I don't know how many times. This sounds so like cynical. But I don't know how many times I've met somebody and just been like, oh, they probably gonna be great. Like I just So probably the opposite, where I was just like, oh, we'll see. And then it was like, oh, okay, all right, sir. But not the other way around, where it's like I just assume, or even the other way around, where I just don't think I typically have that thought of like how, because I know people have false confidence. I know that it depends on our chemistry and all of that. Like, it's a lot of factors that go into it. So, but I'm going to start paying attention now to see beforehand. I'm gonna start looking at people and being like, do you have BDE or do you not? Not that that's gonna mean anything.
I think a good example of BDE in a male, and this is just a character, because I don't think him as a person, as a human, I don't think he has it.
Mm-hmm.
But in this character, that what's his name plays Ghost. I think that's an example of like, you can be. Let me tell you something.
No.
Off my feet,
Omari,
little man.
Oh, that's
yeah,
his name?
Omari.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking he's just a. But well, we've talked about. I think we talked about like short guys, big penises. Like that's kind of goes together. But
I think his aura and just like his regular is not. He's just regular. Like he's not.
His character on the show.
Yeah,
the character.
But his character specifically in that show, and when he was on Being Mary Jane in that first season, if anybody ever watched that, he gives off that aura of BDE to me.
Okay. Well, so it sounds like GPE does exist. It's just a matter of, I guess, if the follow through is there, if it's real. But it sounds like there is a level of, if you see a woman and the way she acts, you might think that just because of the way she carries herself, the same as you would with a guy. So good to know.
I think that point of it only being there in the for a day versus all the time is such a great point. And I don't think that that's true for men. I haven't seen that, but I could see how that could be very true for women, because I think some days we really be feeling ourselves, and it's like, oh, my hair turned out perfect, this outfit looks great, I feel skinny, and our confidence level is just really high that night. And he sees it, and he be like, yes, this is what I want you to be like all the time, because in their eyes, that's how they view us. That's a whole nother thing. But for men, I haven't found where it's been one night you were super confident and then other nights you weren't.
It's typically that's just their personality.
Yeah, or it ain't. Right.
What did you say, B, while she was talking?
Oh, I said, yeah, because that's how we always want y'all.
Oh, so
that's when we be the freakiest. Oh, sorry, kid.
That's
when we be the freakiest, because we're feeling ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. That is interesting though. It's which that goes into like sex drive and desire and all that kind of stuff, but it can take a lot for a woman to kind of be like in that space. Which goes into like why people sometimes struggle with like wanting to have sex more often, and like, you need to be in a mood, so you got to kind of get yourself together so you can feel that confidence and that type of stuff. I think it does. So it can be a lot more for women than it can be for men to feel that way. But all right, well, that's all we got. Thank y'all for watching and or listening. If you are watching, make sure you subscribe on YouTube. I was about to say all the social media except YouTube. I said I was gonna start. I'm not even gonna lie, because I was gonna say I'm gonna start like going through and pulling clips and stuff, but that just sounds like more work. That probably is not gonna happen. Not at this time.
Be honest with yourself.
Right. If anybody wants to do that though, if you like any of these clips or anything we're saying and you want to pull a 2 or 3 minute clip, let me know. I will post it everywhere if you do it. But follow us across social media at Room for Relations, Room for Relation on Twitter, and make sure that you're subscribed. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. I think we're still on iHeartRadio, wherever you find podcasts. Check us out, and we will talk to y'all next time. Bye.